Hi there guys, my name is Patricia Bright and this is The Break, where we provide you the tools to grow, learn and navigate life like a boss and make money moves in the process. I hope you are doing well. Today I wanted to do a reaction video to a video I saw a few weeks ago, and this video was about living on $210,000 a year in NYC, and this is on the channel Cnbc Make It. And I've loved watching some of the stories that I've seen on there, and I felt very inspired, and I really wanted to react to this story because I looked at this girl and I was like, you know what? This could be me. This could be anyone that I know. And she's about 25 or 26. I was like, girl, this is amazing. I love to see other people being successful, sharing their journeys. So we're gonna watch this. We're gonna react. We're gonna talk about this lady here. Yeah, let's react to this goodness.
I think part of the reason why I save so much comes from what I've learned from my parents. We never took vacations. We only went to the library. That was our vacation. They were basically just very frugal.
She's already started in, and I know that I'm gonna love her right now. She said that what she knows about money, she's learned from her parents. She said they didn't take vacations. They went to the library. To the library.
Where we going on holiday, mama? Mama, where we going?
The library. I mean, some people might hate that and despise that when they're younger, but then when you're older and successful, you're more likely to appreciate that kind of lifestyle. Now, I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna like take my little ones to the library all the time, but I'm gonna bear in mind that that might breed a lot of success. And for me, I'll be honest with you, growing up, we didn't have a lot of spare time for fun things. I didn't go on holiday till I was probably 11 or 12 years old. We didn't go to the library, but we were given encyclopedias. Hashtag educate them kids.
We went to the library. That was our vacation. They were basically just very frugal.
Frugal is the way to keep the pennies with you. I think if you don't have a lot coming in, learning to manage what goes out is important. So as you can see, she's had some great life lessons from the beginning. This 25-year-old lives on $210,000 in NYC. At 25, what does she do? What does she do? Listen, robbing a bank? What is she? Well, anyway, that's our point. We need to watch this. Here's how she spends her money.
Hi, my name is Bukola Ayodele. I'm 25 years old, and I make $210,000 every year and live in New York City.
So Bukola, I can tell she's a fellow Nigerian sister, you know. We out here kind of, you know, we try and make it work wherever we are in the world. I feel like, and this is something you're gonna notice a lot with immigrants, no matter whether they're from Nigeria or Kosovo or wherever they're from, there's sometimes this aspect where immigrants or people from second generation, they feel like they have to almost work extra hard because their parents have made all this effort to bring them to a new location to give them a better life, and often you'll find that the children work really hard to kind of please those parents and also to make something of the choices that they made. So I'm presuming that might be something she might talk about based on what she said her upbringing was like. Love to see it.
I'm a software engineer working in the fintech space.
Well, there we go. Software engineer in the fintech space. It doesn't get much better than that. So she clearly works in technology within the financial industry. And this is what an industry that pays a lot of money. And technology is also a big money player. So the thing is that when people talk to me about what job should I get, what career do I want to choose? Like if you are driven by finances, then you have to pick the right industry. She is in the right industry. What she does, being the engineer as well, is going to set her apart in one of the most competitive job roles that there's going to be out there. I used to work within investment banking, and I used to work in investment banking technology as well. However, I was not a software engineer. I did business analysis. I worked with software engineers, and funnily enough, I want to share this, that there was a woman there, and this is why when people tell me, oh, women find it hard, or if you're black, it's hard. I was very privileged that I had really amazing examples of women who were black or brown who were killing it. And one of the software engineers, she basically built the platform that we were using inside that brokerage company. She built it. She was literally the oracle. Everyone went to her. They were like, if you need to know anything about this platform, art scaling. Everybody loved her and respected her. Someone told me that she makes over £1 million a year because she was an essential part of the business. And so for me, it was so great to see such a good example of a woman who was successful. And I never felt like I had any limitations because I'd seen her. And I saw how everybody loved her because she knew everything. She was the smartest woman, smartest person on the floor. Anyway, sorry, I'm ranting. Expenses.
So I'm actually obsessed with tracking things. Like I track my calories, I track my workouts, and I also track my money.
It sounds like music to my ears. Track everything, Excel spreadsheets, budgets. It's like, sing it again. I love that noise. I love it. She tracks everything. She saves $7,000 a month. Is it $11,000 she has coming in? But she saves over 50% of that. Let's deep that. She saves over 50% of how much she earns. And relatively, her expenses, her housing, 1,400 is good. It's within means. She's actually not overspending for her housing and accommodation. It only makes up just over 10% of her entire income. And normally what happens when people make more money, they spend more. So, I'm making £11,000 a month. Let me go and take a £6,000 rental. No, live below your means. Wow. And I can see she also does donations. Let me hear what she says.
I believe in this philosophy of what doesn't get measured doesn't get managed. So I make sure I'm tracking my money every single month.
Can I say, I just love the fact that people are here sharing their salaries, and this is what I'm all about. Let's talk about numbers, let's talk about money, let's get transparent and give people some honest and clear examples of what they could be doing.
How I track my money is I use YNAB and I also use Personal Capital. I also have spreadsheets for my long-term goals.
So YNAB, it's a personal financial app and expenses tracker. There you go. She's on top of it. I love that. Okay. So I think we need to go back because we need to look at how she spends her money. As you can see, she spends just over 10% of her income on her housing. She gives donations, that's £800. I'm presuming that is for a good cause. I mentioned this in my budget tracker that I put 10% of my earnings away for a good cause or for charitable contributions. I think it's really important. She's got £625 in other things. I keep saying pounds, I mean dollars, you know what I mean. And food, beauty and clothes, transport. Her transport is cheap. Why is her transport so cheap? Transport can cost a lot of money for everyday people who commute. So let's find out where she lives. Subscriptions, okay. Utilities, okay. So she shows her monthly savings. So as you can see, she's not just putting her savings into a savings account. She's putting $4,000 into a brokerage account, which means she is investing. She's actively investing $4,000 on a monthly basis. That is insane. That is a huge amount of money to invest. She probably buys stocks or shares. She might also track index funds. And I'm presuming if she works in the fintech space, she has a bit more of an awareness of what to buy, what not to buy, and is probably informed. But I am going to talk about investing because everybody should and can invest. And by the way, her savings are not just sitting. I can see she's putting her savings into locations that will make money in the future, such as a 401k.
I'm allocating a little bit of money to hit those long-term goals.
3-bedroom apartment with 2 roommates. She lives with roommates. Can you imagine that on $210K a year, she still lives with roommates? That means she's got a room and they've got a room. She's trying to save. I wonder what this girl's goals are to overtake the world. I love it.
The apartment is about $4,000 and my room costs about $1,400.
So $4,000 for a 3-bedroom apartment in where she lives, I actually think is reasonable, and she's only paying a room rent. Wow.
This is actually the most I've ever spent on rent, and I was a little mad to spend this much on rent.
She was mad to spend what she's spending on her rent, and her rent is low for where she lives and for what she does and how much she earns. I love it. It's the mindset. Change your path.
So I was born in Nigeria and I moved here when I was 6 years old.
You see it? She's born in Nigeria and moved here when she was 6 years old. My heart. Let me keep watching this before I say
And
what
we
I'm gonna
moved
say.
into like an inner city neighborhood when we first got here. And my parents really like hustled and worked hard to like get us to a better neighborhood.
Mom and dad looking
Growing
fly.
up, my parents really valued education, and they really pushed my sister and I to pursue very traditional career path. In our house, we had a saying that you could either be a doctor, a lawyer, or a disgrace.
A doctor, a lawyer, or a disgrace. Wow. As a child of Nigerian parents, of immigrant parents, I feel you. I feel that pain. I was meant to be a doctor or a lawyer. I made my parents quite upset when I went to go and do fashion. And they were like, what the hell? And then I changed to accounting, and then they were happy to be proud of me, and now I'm an entrepreneur and they're still proud of me. They love me. I completely understand the story of that being an immigrant or being born to immigrant parents who have high expectations of you.
And we moved into like an inner city neighborhood when
They lived in an inner city neighborhood, which I'm presuming is a little bit more of a difficult neighborhood. And I truly believe, and I want to stress this, that there are people who are in dire situations and maybe are not in the best areas, they're not from the best background. But honestly, I think education is one of the best ways to change your financial situation. The best way to get yourself out of point A to point B. Not everybody is academically inclined, and I get that, and I totally understand that. But if it requires you to apply yourself just a little bit, then put in the effort. It's definitely worth it in the long run if you can make some good choices.
When we first got here, my parents really like hustled and worked hard to like get us to a better neighborhood.
I know about that African hustle. I know it. I know the story rides true for so many children of immigrants. The parents tried their hardest to do the best for their children.
I actually majored in political science in college with the hopes of becoming a lawyer, but after working in a law-related field, I realized that this was not for me.
Hold on. Political science. I was working as a lawyer, and now she's a software engineer. Cannot compute. How did that happen? Clearly she did a career jump.
So I looked back at classes in college that I really liked, and one of the classes I really loved in college were my computer science classes. I decided to quit my job.
So I love this. This is the thing. She studied something and she went and got a job in it, and she didn't quite like it, and she quit her job. That is bravery, but it also shows that you might be going down one path and you don't love it. You can pivot, especially when you're young. You can pivot. Someone asked me about how do you know if a career is the right career for you. You never know until you're actually doing it, and you do have the opportunity to change. But all you really want to do when you're there is to pick up some skills that are going to be valuable.
During my time doing a sabbatical,
How can you take a sabbatical when you're like under 25 years old? I don't know how that works, but she took a sabbatical. That is great. And she decided to pick a module she liked working on when she was studying. And that's very similar to me. When I first went to university, I did international fashion marketing because I really wanted to work in fashion. And I realized I hated the course. I wasn't really a huge fan of the industry in the way that we were studying it. And then I picked to go and do accounting because my favorite module on my fashion course was accounting. And I got the highest grades in accounting. So I was like, I'm gonna do accounting. It wasn't that deep. I didn't overthink it. I just did what I was kind of good at.
I joined the Recurse Center. The Recurse Center is sort of like an engineering retreat where you can learn how to program and just sort of build new projects. It was totally free, and it took 3 months. And then after that, 3 months later, I got a job.
She went on a free retreat to help you learn how to be a software engineer. It was free. How was it free? Was it free to her because maybe she was on a scholarship? And then 3 months later, she got a job. Wow. So she pivoted. This is a great example of pivoting. She pivoted and then she retrained. And I think for anybody who might be thinking about a career they want to go into, try and see if there's a course or a module or some form of exam that you can take. You can find this kind of thing in all industries. You have opportunities. You just have to train and educate yourself.
I got so many rejections left and right, and I just had to learn to just be a little bit more persistent and to keep pushing.
She got rejections, but she did not let her rejections stop her.
We're getting our account balance, and then we're just returning self-accounts. So it's just easy. can be kind of a little isolating to be the only Black woman, but I really just try to connect with other Black women and people of color in the software engineering space. I've been stopped like a bunch of times from like entering my job because like they thought I just didn't work in the building. It's just crazy that things like that happen.
Oh my gosh, that is so cringe. Can you imagine being stopped from going into an office building you work in because people don't think you look like the kind of person who should work there? That is really, really bad, and that can happen. There are times where people don't think that someone should be successful. They might judge them based on their race, their age, their looks, so many different reasons. But again, has it stopped her? Has she quit her job? No. And what she potentially has the opportunity is to change the culture from the inside out. And even by doing a video like this, she's telling other people, you can be a software engineer and earn 210K a year. Even me, when I make content like this, the whole point in doing this is letting girls from different backgrounds know, yes, you can. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. One day you're walking and say, I own the building. What? Sorry. I'm so excited.
Tech and software engineering is a really great career path. You get to work on really amazing projects and you can earn a really good living doing this.
I noticed that she's writing her some strings or whatever they call it, CSS, I don't know. But she wrote, get that bag, sis. Letting them know. Food. Bicola's food budget is $300 a month.
$200 goes towards groceries and $100 for eating out.
She spends $100 on eating out, which is basically $25 a week on eating out. This girl is disciplined, like, oh, you know, she's $25 a week on takeout, right? How much that's one takeout for me, and I might have 2 or 3 of those. I've got a lot better, but some of you guys probably need to reflect on how much you're spending on eating out. That's how her food budget is low. Well done, discipline.
I grew up on meal prep. My mom always made us some jollof rice in the house, so I usually meal prep my meals.
Bicola, oh yes, I love it, and she's letting us all know, oh, maybe we need to step our game up. I love the fact that she meal preps. It's a great way to save money and also to save time. Love it. And of course, I love jollof rice.
Me and my friends, we do other things other than just like going out for dinner and like brunch. So instead of grabbing dinner, we'll just do a class pass instead and like go to a dance class. Or I just invite friends over. Sometimes we'll just cook together. It's just a way for all of us to save money.
I like this. Get you a group of friends who don't want you to go broke. They understand you're on a mission, that you're on a journey, and they're there with you on it. You all glow up together, you all be great together. The mindset of the people around you will reflect what happens in your life. So this is great. What? So here's a situation where it can be a little bit difficult. She graduated nearly debt-free from Columbia University. Wow.
I left school with about $7,000 in student loans was because of 2 factors. The first factor was the fact that I got needs-based financial aid from my college so that my tuition and room and board, half of it was paid and covered for by my school.
So she got a grant based on maybe her background, maybe based on her educational status. She didn't get into that, but that helps a lot. And I think that anybody who's out there, you should probably look at what grants are available to you. I know that student loan debt in America is really bad in terms of how much people end up owing. It's getting bad in the UK. I was lucky enough that I was at the time where it was only 1,000 to 3,000, and then I think it's gone up more than that. But yeah, look at what the options are when it comes to getting any scholarships or contributions towards your education.
The other half was covered for by my parents, and they gave me probably one of the best gifts that I've ever gotten, which is the gift of a free education.
Wow.
They took on the burden of carrying like our
helped
loans, but they were able to pay it off through just being really frugal.
Her parents were able to help her because they took on her debt. And I know that not everybody's parents can take on their children's debt because the parents sometimes are dealing with their own situation. So she's very lucky in that sense, but I'm sure she wants to pay it forward to them as well. Bicola gives $800 a month to her family and charitable causes, including Black Girls Code. I will try and find a link and download that down below. That's great.
My parents just always donated like 10% of their salary. They see that as like a gift to God.
It's very similar to my parents. I'm presuming she might be from like a Christian or religious background, which is very similar to myself. I still give 10% of my earnings. I think it's really important, and it was instilled in me from when I was a kid as well. So I think that sometimes these habits that we develop around money can either hinder us or help us. Now, you might not do what she does or what her parents do or what I might do, but you might have to choose a thing that you do when it comes to your money. And I think no matter what religion or whatever belief you have, you should definitely look at considering to pay it forward.
I love exercising so much. Exercising has helped me live in New York City. It's honestly one of the most stressful places to live in, but maintaining an exercise routine really helps me reduce my stress and really helps me with my mental health.
Exercise, very important. The company pays for her Equinox membership. Look at this. Equinox is like the most expensive gym ever, and then she somehow finessed her company into paying for it. You see this? And this is the thing, you can have a good job, you can have a good career. Just make the right choices and look at what you want out of life. And if you want an Equinox membership, you can't get that.
So I really love spending money on beauty. For me, my beauty budget entails sometimes I get my nails done, sometimes I get sugared.
Bukola is my type of girl. I can tell. We would be friends if we lived in New York. I love this.
I also really like hair extensions and buying new clothes, so I try to keep my beauty budget at about $300 every month.
$300 on beauty every month. Is that expensive? To me personally, no. To the everyday girl who might be on a tighter budget, you probably don't need to spend $300 on beauty. That is a lot, but it's fine for her income. It's great for her income, actually. You gotta also have money and spend money on things that you like, that make you happy. If you don't do that, then what's the point?
Funny because when I first graduated from college, I was living paycheck to paycheck on my first salary, and it wasn't because I was making too little, it was just because I wasn't being smart with my money.
So obviously you're hearing her story now. She's got $7,000 in savings and investment. She does that every month, and she's on $210K a year. But as you can hear, she said that there was a time where she was living paycheck to paycheck. This is an example of, what your story is right now. It doesn't have to be like that forever, but I think she's going to talk about the fact that she was living like that because she didn't have a handle on her money.
But I realized the importance and the power of having savings.
She's got a spreadsheet. Oh my gosh. Fanny flutters. She's got a spreadsheet. I'm so hyped. I'm really sorry. This is meant to be my professional channel, but I am who I am. I am who I am.
Long-term financial goals is to FIRE. I'm a huge fan of the Financial Independence Retire Early movement. I think it's a really amazing movement. I don't necessarily know if I want to retire early, but it would be great to be financially independent.
So she's clearly financially savvy. She has her eyes on her prize, and she wants to be financially independent and retire early. It takes work, but I think it's an example that everyday people, if they make the right financial decisions, educate themselves effectively and invest steadily, they should be able to do that. Do I want to retire early? Definitely not. Do I want to be financially stable? And am I very lucky enough to be? I am, yes.
One of my goals is also to maybe own an apartment. I know in New York it can be crazy. In my neighborhood, a one bedroom goes for $700,000 to $800,000, and that's just for a one bedroom.
$700,000 to $800,000 for one bedroom sounds about right. Sounds like London as well. It's ridiculous, but it all depends on where you choose to buy.
Something that I'm really passionate about is my YouTube channel called The Come Up. It's sort of a channel that I created to sort of give people the resources I didn't have when I was starting this journey. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel.
Hey, she's a YouTuber, The Come Up. Bukola, I'll find her channel and I'll put a link in the description.
There are not that many Black women in tech, so I just wanted to sort of show that there are Black women in tech and just sort of provide as many resources as possible.
Beyond the library.
I didn't really grow up getting to take international trips. We only traveled to the libraries, so I kind of do it to the max now. So I try to take one international trip every year with my boyfriend. I take girls trips with my friends. I'm also in a long distance relationship, so that like flying back and forth from New York to LA also adds a little bit more to my travel budget.
So she's waited. She wasn't able to do some of the trips and some of the travel and some of the glamour that people might be doing now. She waited until she had the resources to do it, and now she's able to do it and enjoy. She does an international trip once a year, and she also travels to see her boyfriend once a month for £500. $500, that's quite a lot, but she's flying to another city to be with him. But I love that, wait. Put in the work. You don't have to do everything right now. Wait till you have the resources, and she's done that.
Basically, all of my family is in Nigeria, like all of my family except for like one of my uncles and my sister, my mom, my dad. And the opportunities I have here are significantly more than the opportunities that my cousins have. So that's something that I always remember when I'm feeling like down, is how lucky I am to be here and how many opportunities I have here than I having like in Nigeria.
You can clearly see she appreciates her situation, what she's got, what she has, her family. And you know what, she's in a privileged position now, but she's worked for it,
Is
I love
that
this.
like money can just give you a lot of opportunities, a lot of options. Like in New York City, you're just constantly surrounded by like people who are extremely wealthy, but also people who are extremely poor. And then going to the college that I went to school with kids whose parents were millionaires and billionaires. So I could actually see like how money can give you like options and opportunities.
I feel like she's just preaching to the choir right here. I love it. I feel like exactly what I'm talking about, exactly what I say. This is exactly how I feel. This is why I've created this channel, because you can see the opportunity that money can bring, or financial literacy can bring, even information, like one glimmer of hope that it is possible can actually transform someone's lives. It makes such a huge difference.
And the things you don't have to think about when you have a higher income. So that's part of the reason I try to work as hard as I can, just so I can also give myself and my family those opportunities.
I feel like motivated. I was like, right, what can I do now? What can I do now? I need to go sort some ish out. It's such, for me, a great story. And I did the Kylie video because I still think Kylie Jenner's journey is amazing. But I think that this is a realistic story. If you don't believe about rags to riches, or someone can make it, this is an example of someone who has done it. And then someone will say, well, she had some help. Stop making excuses as to why you haven't succeeded, or belittling someone else's journey. Like, she's done what she's done and she's killed it. And as you can see, that there's been roadblocks, there's certain aspects. So she quit her job, she had to retrain, she was living paycheck to paycheck for a period of time, but she's living right now. So I love to see it. I hope that, guys, that inspired you. I, feel even slightly emotional, like reacting to that. It just makes me feel really, really good on the inside. So I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. If there's any other videos you want me to review or react to, or if there are any other topics that you want me to talk to here on the channel, leave it in the comments down below. We can talk about all things. You can also follow me on my Instagram page if you want to, but you should definitely follow The Break. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all later. Bye.